Welcome to the Hands to Heart Center Mindful Moment. And today's mindful moment is a really peaceful moment in nature at the beach. And I'm Jessi Rosinski, here to guide this session. And right now I'm behind the camera, so you can't see me, but you can see the beautiful scenery, birds, waves, ocean, maybe a little bit of wind. And right now I'm just walking to get us to a really great spot. And so as I'm doing that, tell you a few things about Hands to Heart Center. It's an organization in Greater Boston, a nonprofit that focuses on bringing practices like yoga, mindfulness, meditation to people all across the city so that there is access to these practices and their soothing and healing benefits. I'm really glad to be here for today's mindful moment and be sharing some of this beauty with you. And so as we get started, choose any posture that is suitable for you. So thinking about how your body feels most comfortable, particularly in this moment. It doesn't have to look like any other position you have taken when you've done some mindfulness or meditation practice before. And so you want to feel supported if there's anything you can do to make yourself more comfortable. That's what you're going for. And take a deep breath in through the nose, sigh it out through the mouth. And go ahead and do that one or two more times, just at your own pace. Deep breath in through the nose, fill up completely with air. Sigh it out, let everything out. Squeeze the belly button towards the spine so that you're expelling all your air. And then you can just let the breath return to normal. So in today's session, we'll do some grounding by turning our attention towards the body. And then we'll also spend some time with some intentional breaths. We'll do some counting breathing, and that's to increase steadiness. And so I'll be sharing the images of the water and the sand throughout. So if you like to keep your eyes open, feel free. If you want to have your eyes closed, that's also always a great option. Or you could be looking at something else completely. That could be a neutral object or something that just feels pretty steady. So the idea of choosing a position for our eyes helps us support the idea that we're just turning down the visual volume a little bit. Some less stimulus or more neutral stimulus than we get throughout the day. And this can be soothing and quieting. So feel free to choose eyes open, closed, or looking at something besides the screen. And at any point during our time together, you can feel free to change it up and choose a different option, experiment with something different. So to start by centering our attention in the body, just notice the parts of your body that are touching another surface. So that might be feet on the floor. For me today, it's feet on the sand, and I can feel the coolness and the dampness. And it might be underside on a chair or head and back supported by a pillow if you're lying down. You can notice where your hands are. Are they resting on another part of your body? Are they touching another surface? And any qualities there. I can feel one of my hands warm in a pocket, feeling the fabric of my jacket. The other hand, I can feel receiving the cool air as I hold up the camera. So what sensations can you identify in your hands? You might just gently and quickly scan through your whole body, starting with the feet, moving upwards. And notice if there's any areas of obvious tension that you might invite to soften. So a lot of us have a little bit of holding in the stomach or grip in the hands. Shoulders might be slightly more elevated than they need to be. Jaw could be tight. Some holding in the muscles around the eyes. So anywhere that you might notice that there's some holding or tension, you could invite that to relax and soften. Even if just a little bit. And even if not at all, the idea of noticing and inviting there to be softness can be really helpful because it's steadying, it's grounding. And one more time, just scanning through the body. Is there anywhere else, or maybe that same place, that could get a little bit softer, a little bit more easy? So we'll spend a few minutes with intentional breathing. We'll do a counted breath. And counted breaths are great because they can be steadying. They can calm down our system a little bit. So we might notice that our minds are able to relax, our bodies, our nervous systems. And even if you don't feel this in the moment, you can trust that it's happening. And so we'll take deep, slow breaths completely at your own pace. You'll be counting on your own. Deep breath in through the nose and out through the nose. Each breath slow and deep. And you'll see if you can count to 10. So inhale for 1 and exhale for 1. Then you'll inhale for 2, exhale for 2. And you'll just move at your own pace, counting 1 through 10. If you lose count at any point, not a big deal. You can just start again at 1. So it's not about reaching 10 efficiently or perfectly. It's just about keeping track of the breath and noticing when you're not keeping track of the breath, returning to it. So spend a few moments in silence to do this. Deep breaths in through the nose and out through the nose. Slow and steady. Follow the breath in, follow the breath out, and each breath gets a count. And if you get to 10 or you get lost along the way, you can just start again at 1. So just lightly and gently measuring these breaths. Slow and deep and steady. Breath is very much like the waves in front of us. Inhale and exhale, one turns into the next, so the wave's always moving. And they have their own rhythm to them, just like our breaths have our own rhythm. And gently counting the inhale and the exhale. take another moment or so together. So you're continuing your count up to 10 or returning to 1 at any point. And mindfulness is noticing. So noticing when you're breathing and noticing when you've forgotten about the breath, when you might have gotten lost in thought, paying attention to something else. And that moment of mindfulness is when you realize, I'm going to go back to the breath. And so that's a moment of celebration. You can do that return as many times as you need. After your next exhale, let all that air out. Release the count. And you'll just let your body go back to breathing on its own. So without deeply and steadily encouraging the breath or counting the breath, you'll just let the body return to its own natural rhythm, which will happen after a few cycles of breath. And you'll just spend a moment in silence noticing, how do you feel? What is the result of taking some time to hear the sounds of nature, connect with the depth of your own breath? And welcome anything that arises, a thought, a feeling, stillness, restlessness. And as we wrap up our time together and start to transition into the next activity of your day, you might take some movements. If your eyes have been closed, you can open them. And any other things that would help you transition back. Thank you for spending some time with me, with Hands to Heart Center, with nature and the other creatures at the beach this morning.